Well, welcome to Frankenblend episode 2. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you right off the bat, this is not a premiere episode. It's just a standard scheduled show. There is no chat because as we speak, I'm in Lynchburg, Tennessee, getting ready for a barrel pick at the Jack Daniel's Distillery. And even more amazing than that, I'm helping pick a rye whiskey. Oh yeah. They really hit the bottom of the barrel to pick me. That's what I'm there for, to help a group pick a rye whiskey. And more about that later. So what we're going to do for the giveaway is I still want you to enter recipe suggestions. And if you watched the previous episode, you know that is a bourbon or whiskey, up to 3, and they're all equal proportions. In other words, if it's 2, it's 50% each. If it's 3, it's 33 and a third percent each. You get the idea. So 2 or 3 whiskeys or bourbons. And if I don't have those whiskeys or bourbons, I may suggest an alternate. But keep in mind, you know what I like if you've been watching this channel. And in the end, it's my taste buds that decides the winner. So, who knows? You could be like Dave Vogelsang and beat me like Dave did last time. So this is show 2. We're going to have 2 recipes. The first recipe is one of mine. The second recipe is from a subscriber, and when we get to that, I'll tell you whose that is. When you send in a recipe, in this show, you need to put it in the comments, I will enter you into a random raffle for the components that we're using tonight. For example, this Stag is being used, Stag Batch 22A. You will get a sample of this Batch 22A along with the other blend component, and actually 3 more because the second part of the show will be a 3 blender rather than a 2 blender. Tonight, our first blend is probably controversial. I'll probably get a lot of comments about this, is Stag Batch 22A. Now, I love Stag. I think it's one of the best Sazerac or Buffalo Trace products out there, but it is hot. I don't like drinking it neat, and that's the way I prefer my bourbon. So I have to tone it down. Well, I thought the other day, why not tone it down with a blend versus tone it down with water or limestone water? Why not add something to it that brings the proof down but not the flavor? So that's what we're going to try. It may be a total disaster, which would be not surprising for this show, would it? So what are we going to blend to proof down that Stag Batch 22A? And keep in mind, it is a, let's see, 132.2. Wow. So what are we going to put with it? One of my favorite, it's a Sazerac product now, but when they made this bottle, it was a Brown Forman product. Early Times, the black cap. This is my favorite Early Times. I've got a lot of it. I've not been drinking it. Don't ask me why. I love it. Just, I guess I didn't want to drink it because I can't find another one. But tonight, we're going to blend the 2 in equal proportions and see what it comes out with. The dried proof of the new blend will be 116. Still a little up there for me, but anytime you get below 120, I'm all in. So when we come back, we're going to get set up and get right into blending this beautiful bourbon. If you go back and watch some of the shows about the Stag, and we actually had, I think, a blind on different Stags. We had a subscriber, Dave Vogelsang, send me some different batches, and I put it up against 22A, and 22A beat every batch that Dave sent me, and I think it was 3 others. 22A has been considered one of the best recent stags out there. Now, of course, 22A actually came out in early 23. It's a long story. So there's been new versions since then. I actually had an opportunity to buy a new one the other day and passed on it just because stag's really not my thing. I don't need to buy a bottle and put it in the vault and never drink it. So this is another way of me maybe getting to enjoy it more by blending it. So we've got about an ounce of the Stag 22A in this glass and about an ounce, same proportion, of the Early Times in this glass. So let's combine them. First the Stag, then the Early Times. I think this has the potential, even though my cigar blend is off the chart good, this has the potential of beating a lot of the other batches or recipes in a blind. So like I said, I really do. I love the Stag. I just don't like the burn. So does this fix that? Does our Frankenblend make something better? Not likely, but maybe I'll like it better. Okay, we're going to use our blind glasses because I've been doing so much filming lately. I hadn't had time to wash the Glencairns. Even though I got a stack load of them in there, I don't want to break out any more new ones. Those are for giveaways, right? Now, the Stag still comes through big time, and that's because of that proof. It's just overwhelming any aroma from the Early Times. I can't smell the Early Times at all. All I smell is Stag. Cheers. Still taking small sips. Well, I will tell you, it still tastes like Stag. That first sip, I didn't get any burn on the back of my throat, and love that. 2 thumbs up on that. But to me, it still tastes like the Stag, even though it's only 50% Stag. Let's take another sip. I think on the second sip, I'm picking up more spice. Definitely a lot more baking spices, more pepper than I remember the Stag. And I thought it would be sweeter. I thought that the Early Times would sweeten it up some, but then I'm thinking the Early Times really isn't that sweet, is it? It's just mellowing out the Stag. It made it smoother. It doesn't have as much bite, but it's still a boatload of flavor. But you know, it's not as great as I hoped it would be. It's good. It's very good. But it's not great. So, I have to give it a score because the score is going to determine the seed in the Elite 8 competition. The higher the rank, you know how a seeded bracket works. I'm going to give it this 3.5 stars. I think it could have been better. I hoped it would be better. Wow. I may have made a mistake on this one. I may have needed to blend it with something else. So, I don't get a chance to do a redo. So, 3.5 stars is what it is. When we come back, we're going to be set up for round number 2 on episode number 2. Be right back. I might have to rethink that blend if I ever do this again. The Stag needs to have something that is brings down the proof, but also might sweeten it up a little bit, at least for my palate. I think if I had sweetened it up a little bit, I would have enjoyed it more. The proof was perfect, though, at 116. It actually made me think of more like it's like an Old Forester 1920, and maybe that's because of the Early Times, right? Stephen Cohn. He suggested a 3-blend recipe, And these are pretty good. The first one, Old Forester 1910. Now the 1910 is my second favorite Old Forester in the lineup in the Whiskey Row, the standard Whiskey Row lineup. Just behind, a smidgen behind the 1897. I just like that bottled and bond. But this is a powerhouse, a boatload of flavor. And he offered in another Old Forester, which I thought was interesting. The 100. Now the 100 is a good basic bourbon. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not the flavor of the 1910 or the 1897, or certainly not the 1920. But this is a good budget bourbon all day long. I said there was 3, wasn't I? This will blow your socks off. We took 2 Old Foresters, or Stephen took 2 Old Foresters, and was he adding? He's adding in a wheater, and not just any wheater. Maker's Mark 46, the cask strength. So not only we added wheat, we added French staves, French oak staves, and a cask strength proof, bringing it all up, because I think this is a 93, this is 100, and this is, I think, 110. At least mine is 110.3. So the derived proof of this, the new proof, believe it or not, is 100. Perfect. So he brought up to 93. This stayed the same. This came down. And we've added wheat and French oak finish to the blend. That, I think, could be a killer blend. So when we come back, I don't have enough shot glasses here. When we come back, we'll be all set up, and we're going to blend this trio of flavor. Okay, we're all set up here. 1910, Maker's Mark 46 cask strength, and the Old Forester 100. And you know me, I'm a 100 to 115 kind of guy. 108, 107, 110 is perfect for me. So my palate, I guess, like a lot of people, changes over time, and I just like a little higher proof. Now, a year, 2 years from now, because I've only been drinking bourbon a few years, I might only like the high proof stuff. Be like Major Zero, right? Major Zero is my hero. I don't even know why I said that. Hey, Major, salute. Okay, well, let's put these puppies together. So first, the 1910. He's my hero because he has more stags than I've ever seen, and he can enjoy them in a way I wish I could enjoy them. So, he's a veteran. Me, I'm just a private. All right, let's get these out of the way. Grab another glass from the bar. Wrong direction. Boy, I need to get a dishwasher. That's what I need. I just put it in there. Be done with it. Nice color. And of course, what we're not drinking, we save for the competition. And if I need to create more, I will. But the idea is to save enough that hopefully we can get through our Elite 8 without having to make more. So let's see what the aroma's like. I'm hoping I get some French oak and some wheat. Well, I tell you, I'm picking up the wheat. Not really the French oak. I'm definitely picking up that 1910, though. The amazing aroma that the 1910 and 1920 gives you on spices. It's unlike any other bourbon out there. That's why I love the Whiskey Row so much. It's just such a good, not only a good bourbon, but most of them are under $60. Yeah, a 1910 and wheat. So It's a nice aroma. It's not very strong. Cheers. Oh, that is good. Rich, very rich. Not too sweet. You still, that 1910 comes through, but now I'm tasting those French oak staves that's in the maker. So the 1910, I think the Pour 100 here got just blended out, obliterated. The 1910 and the French oak is what comes through. I'm not tasting much of the wheat. Let's take another sip. Yeah, I think the Old Forester obliterated the wheat taste that I would normally get on the makers. I mean, it's probably there, but the 1910 has such a boatload, a burst of flavor. But that French oak, and I think it's because of that cask strength, that French oak, that finish does come through. So a 1910 with a French oak finish. This is definitely a contender. This is some good stuff. I'm going to take another sip. That is very tasty. Stephen, ding, ding, ding. I think you're the champ tonight. Wow. I'm going to give this thing a rating. Score. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it has a potential as it sits here. And before I'll pour that into that, and that's what we'll use in the finals. Man, it could even improve. Wow. Make sure to enter those recipes, and like I said, I'm willing to par back mine and take more than 4 if we get some really, really good recipes. So we hope you will like this video, comment, and share. And if you're not into blending, why not? Take whiskeys and bourbons that you're not drinking. That's the whole purpose of the show, why we're doing it in June during what we're calling Bourbonomics, to use whiskeys that are not being used in a new way. I guarantee you, this is a blend I'm going to keep and try again. So, as always, never drink and drive. Please drink responsibly. And we'll see you on the next Frankenblend.